Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. This will be a layout update for October 2016. Let's take a look at what's new on the layout. So I had a couple new cars come in on the brand new run of American Limited models. So I had ordered a couple Winchester Western like this one and the GATX with the ICE reporting mark. Couldn't pass these up. They're 100% prototypical for this Fremo module that I built, and we often see these the GATX cars as well as these Winchester and Western cars on the actual prototype. So, happy to have a few more of these by American Limited. They are just absolutely beautiful models. There's a look at the B end. Yeah, we've all seen these cars before. This is just the second run with some additional paint schemes, and they are very nice. Just a quick look at the packaging. Trinity 3281 by American Limited models. So that's the only new rolling stock or anything I got in over the past month. Let's take a look at the how the construction's progressing on the layout. Over here on the CN side, once again, kind of been neglecting the CN side a little bit. I haven't got much done over here. The only thing I did was about 4 feet of bench work here. This piece, this is the start of, this will be the east end of Jasper Yard. And you can see I used 1x4s here, and I kind of figured 3 feet was pushing it for a span on a 1x2. I kind of chickened out. I didn't think it would be solid enough, so I thought anything over a 36-inch span, I use 1x4. It's just able to support more this way when you push down on it. So yeah, that's the only thing new over here on the CN side. So over here on the CP side of the layout, I got the first kind of big component finished. This is the points east reverse loop. So this represents anywhere east of Banff on the layout, and this is where up to 5 trains can be stored in 25-foot staging tracks. So this was a pretty big job to get this thing done, and this one has to be built first because the CN one, you can see there on the side where some of the supports are on the wall. The CN one will be over top of this, so it'll be double stacked reverse loop staging. So that was a fairly large component to complete, and now that that's done, I can start going along with some sub-road bed attached to this. So it's 5/8 Douglas fir is what the sub-road bed material is on this reverse loop. One other kind of little neat thing about the reverse loop that I didn't realize, like I have the plan, it shows on the plan what it's going to look like and how much space it takes up, but you never really know until what the feel of it's going to be like until you actually build the thing. So I built it, and then I was kind of pleasantly surprised that there actually is a ton of room in the middle of the reverse loop. So one of the things that I had scratched way early on in my planning was a spot for a dispatcher, just because I really have used up just about every square inch of space in the basement. But I didn't take into account that there'd be so much room in the inside of these reverse loops. So I built it so that this can be a duck under here. I made sure there was no supporting in this area, and it was as high as possible. And I eventually could build a little, maybe a 1 or 2 foot false floor that you duck under, and there'd be like maybe step here, and you kind of step up to a little work desk type area. And it would give you a view of both sides of the layout, and that could be for the RTC or the dispatcher. That's where that person could sit when they're dispatching trains. So it was kind of a cool thing that I never realized I had the space for that. We'll go inside and I'll show you what the view would look like from the reverse loop or the RTC desk in there. So this is the view from inside the reverse loop, so you could have And these supports, I actually could take these out, I could cut them off. They don't need to be attached to the ceiling, so if I do go that route, I could take the supports out and it'd be totally unobstructed view. So you'd be looking, you could look down at quite a bit of the CP layout, and then looking from this side, you could see the west end of Jasper Yard too. So you kind of have you'd have a good, you have a little bit of a view of both railroads, and then you could have the, what I think would be a nice spot for a workstation here, like an office desk type thing. And I'd build it off the floor just a little bit to just give it some more height, make it kind of feel like it's a tower or something. This isn't quite the height you'd be able to see it from. Just bear with me here. I'll raise it up to the view you'd get. Your head would probably be about there. So that would be the RTC's view of the layout. This illustrates pretty good how I supported this reverse loop. So I started with the pieces on the wall. Those are obviously the easiest to do, and then as I got further along, I ended up with 3 supports here. So they're tied to the joist in the ceiling, and just a 2x2. So from the ceiling down to the floor, and they're just PL 400 to the concrete. And then I just used my normal cantilevers that I've been building for everything else. And it is solid. Like once you put the last piece in and complete the circle, it is a very, very solid structure. The reverse loop itself is the inside cut is 36-inch radius, and the outside cut is 48-inch radius. But there's quite a few complicated curve pieces. So look, just this entrance piece here, you can see the curve in the back is constant, so I made that with trammel points. But when you get to these more complicated curves where it comes out like almost like a curve easement and then transitions backwards to come this way, this is a really complicated piece of plywood. So I was kind of scratching my head about how I was going to do that accurately. Like I have it on the plan, but how was I going to translate that into being able to cut that out of plywood? So I just found a printing press here in my hometown and got them to print out the plan in 1:1. And then I used that to make paper templates, which I then transferred onto the plywood and then cut out. And kind of the bonus of doing it this way is you get to keep the paper template. It's got the track on it, so when I get to track laying, I won't have to any guesswork about how to do these switches, because the entrance to this reverse loop is super complicated, and there's some curved turnouts, there's some straight turnouts, and each turnout is placed in a very precise location so that each track ends up being 25 feet long, because obviously the outer tracks are quite a bit longer than the inside track. So the turnouts have to be placed appropriately to give you that maximum train length of 25 feet that I'm looking for. So just looking down from the entrance of the reverse loop, so this will be Banff. So that's where I've got to right here with the end of the reverse loop. So now the sub road bed starts here and with Banff Yard. So that'll be the next thing I get going here once I get some more printing done. But the benchwork is finished all the way up around the peninsula there on the CP side. So it's moving down the line a little bit here. So this is, we're still in Banff Yard here. This will be getting close to the milepost 82 control point right here. And Mount Norquay Road going into Banff. And as we transition a little bit further down the layout, we've got the 40 Mile Creek, so that you can see the benchwork drops down a bit to allow for that, and then it goes into the peninsula curve, which was a pretty complicated thing to build. I'll show a couple pictures here I took as it was in construction. I ended up with making this weird cylinder-shaped thing. So this is just looking from the other side at the peninsula. And like I was talking about over on the CN side over here, where the span of the joist was greater than 36 inches, I went with 1x4 there, just to be on the safe side. So eventually the finishing on this will be a 1/4 inch MDF. That'll just be kind of made to curve, so it's a nice smooth curve around the edge of the peninsula. And in the center there, you can see I cut out a circle of plywood, and that really strengthened it after I put that in there. It's quite solid now. It was a little bit kind of sketchy before, but now it's really solid. So that completed the peninsula benchwork. It's done, and next step is all sub-road bed. So I'm going to start way back at the start where we were looking at the reverse loop, and I'll just slowly start working my way down this way and come around just like that. So that pretty much wraps up everything that's new down here, guys. Next month, like I said, I'm sub-road bed carrying on. I've actually got some prints at the printer right now to do the other CP reverse loop, the Points West reverse loop, which is kind of another thing I have to get done first before I can continue on the CN side. So that is what I'm going to be up to for the next month, probably at least. We'll be doing another one of those reverse loops because they're actually quite labor intensive, and there's a lot of kind of figuring out how to support it, and lots of different things have to go into it to make it to work. So that's what I'm going to be up to. So that'll wrap up this layout update, guys. As always, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.